to you, man. You had a great impact on my life. Buy all your
Thank you.
books, and
Thank you.
super pumped to be on.
Thank you.
My thing is, I was working in higher ed. Went to corporate that worked with higher ed. Made some decent money. It proved some concepts that I already believed in business. Got my MBA, and I felt like, you know what, this stuff is the company I was working for was making a difference in students' lives in higher ed. But I felt like, man, a lot of social justice, nonprofit organizations could use this stuff. I felt like nonprofits and social justice organizations are a little behind. They're ahead on empathy. They're ahead on a lot of things, but they're behind in methodology. So I started something to help. So I started helping them out. And I had a struggle with my business model. And then finally I stumbled on doing like small retainers, or like $150 a month for a couple hours a month, had like 3 clients. But then, you know, with my wife and I wanted to grow our family, healthcare in the States. I got a job at UPenn, had a second baby. Thank God I did, because he had some minor issues.
I'm sorry, you chopped for a second. You had a second child and he had some issues?
Yeah, he had some health issues at birth.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully everything's okay. But if I didn't have the health care, you know,
you would have been in big fucking trouble.
A different cost. Yeah. Yep. So I am passionate about career development. I've done the business, I've done corporate, I've done nonprofit, and I love helping younger people navigate career and passion and strength building and hustling and networking and trying to, you know, piece that them together. But this new place I'm at wasn't what it was all set up to be. And so I feel like I was lied to. Yeah, I was a little hoodwinked.
Yep.
I try to make it work. I feel like I just don't feel like it's a safe environment in terms of professionally.
Okay.
I dread meetings. I dread Monday morning. Sometimes I feel it on Saturdays, where I dread Monday. And but I have a family, and the job I am at has amazing health care. So I'm kind of worried with this economy. Like, do I make the pivot and go back to my little small thing and try to build it up again? Or should I hunker down until I see what happens?
I think you can do the consulting thing on the side. I really do. And I think that you should consider getting another job. The job market's going to be wild after this. This could shape up super weird. It's almost like a redraft in sports terms. It's almost like if every player became available and you redraft. Like companies are laying off at record. I mean, we've had more people laid off in the last 3 weeks than we did during the Great Recession in 2008. I don't think people understand what this is going to look like. And by the way, as a business owner that's fighting every hour right now to save every job he can, it's going to get worse. But then I think it's going to happen that it's going to come back pretty quickly. I really do. Like, at worst case scenario, a year from now when the fucking vaccine comes, people are going to be popping, you know? Mm-hmm. So, Jay, for me, if you were my brother, and that's how I treat every one of these calls, brother and sister, my quick hot take intuition is you start the side consulting business. If you're talking about a couple hours a week, you know, at $150, I would try to push that up, though they may be struggling right now because donations are, you know, but even let's say that, because, you know, $450, like, cool, like $150 a month for a couple hours a week. Is that what it was?
A couple hours a month.
Oh, beautiful. Nice. I think you go back out with that product. You fucking work at night, you know. I promise you, when you hate your fucking job and you come home and you have to work on this other thing, it actually makes you happier. That 2 hours of work makes you happier. You may want to see the 2 kids, you may want to see your lovely wife, but it's still going to make you happier. And the kids are asleep, and guess what? We all have to eat shit sometimes. Sometimes there's a war. Sometimes there's a pandemic. Sometimes there's a massive economy. My take is you start the side business now. It may be tricky. You may not be able to get people back. You keep that. And then when things go into the redraft, right? Like September, October, January, when it starts picking back up, I think you get another job, a different job, doing something similar. You might make a little less money because I think the salary is going to reset, but you'll be happy as fuck, which will give you energy to build up your 150. You get 9 of those. You see where I'm going?
Yeah. Another question too is, is it? We have some savings, some cash from the taxing that this guy's doing.
Well, what's happening right now with the job? Are you furloughed, or are you sitting at home, or what's happening?
No, I'm working remotely.
Dude, that's a fucking. You fucking won the lottery.
That's true. That's true, and that's where it goes back to like the happiness versus dread versus gratefulness.
You have to be happier now that you're not actually physically around the negativity, right? You still have it mentally, but you're at least physically not there. Or are you more unhappy, or are you happier?
I'm equally unhappy with because the unhealthy dynamics translate virtually.
Of course, when somebody's a shithole, they're a shithole virtually and in real life. Jay, listen, I think that the leadership of family has responsibilities. I think taking high-risk moves of tapping into savings right now is extremely risky. I also don't want you to break down emotionally from deep sadness.
Yeah, and I was using just the savings from getting certifications on. I'm a tech nerd. I love Linux. I love open source. I love the tech world. Unfortunately, I was so in the sunken cost of my other educational pathways that I was like, I could never break away and make a pivot.
Bro,
I should get a certificate.
You're too schooled out. Companies hire people that don't have any fucking fuck a certificate. Fucking just email people. Like, if you can fucking code, you can fucking code. Development is like fucking sports. LeBron doesn't have a fucking degree from a college.
Yeah.
You're in that framework, right? Ivy League school where you work at, fucking, I'm listening to you. Fuck that framework. Just literally email 1,000 people on LinkedIn and say, I can fucking code. Where'd you go to school? Not for that, but here's where I went. But I can do it. You'd be very surprised how much entrepreneurship has seeped into corporate America. All you need is one CTO to be like, yeah, this guy can code. Hired. Don't fucking get your validation from a piece of paper that costs a ton of money.
Yeah, well, I still have to learn the process, though, because I don't know how to code yet.
Got it.
Yeah.
Respect. There's a lot of fucking free fucking ways to learn it on the internet.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would do.
So I grinded out my job, learned something at night.
Listen, eating shit for as long as possible is always the right strategy, but you have to stop eating shit when you know you're on the verge of breaking. And only you can decide that. But unfortunately, a lot of us, men and women out here, have responsibilities that our decisions have ramification on others.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family involved in my decisions, and then I have 1,000 lives. And those people are family to me too.
Yeah, my wife has a decent income. Her benefits package will be it's okay. Which will allow me some flexibility.
Well, that's huge. And then if you look at everything, maybe you don't need Netflix for a year. Maybe you don't need to, use, the amazing Dove soap and use fucking, store soap. Like, this is now when I hear that as another element, now becomes a function of your expenses to live. If you can, if you're going to put that burden, because your wife's going to feel that burden, now you want to look at everything, like look at every expense.
Yeah. Okay, so I got some options to.
You got a lot of options.
Yeah.
Free internet, learning, cutting expenses on dumb shit, eating shit. You got nothing but fucking options. Even when, for a lot of people, the beginning of this seemed like you had no options. You always got fucking options, people.
Yeah. And when talking about that unhappiness, the toxic thing.
You definitely got to get out of there. You got to get out of there. I don't mind, 6 more. Listen, I'm like in 3rd grade. I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And I had to eat shit. I was unhappy for 9 years. On some real shit, brother. That's why you think I'm mad at schools for entrepreneurs and creatives because it's an ideology, or I think it's funny, or I like razzing. I hate negativity. I'm doing it because it leads to deep unhappiness for children.
Yes.
I was deeply unhappy. I'm like, oh, fuck, I got to get out of here. Wait a minute, 9 more years. 9 more months for you as a grown-up feels super easy for a kid that went through 9 more years, and he really meant it. I'm not trying to act cool now. It was deep unhappiness of being in that school system. I had nice teachers. It was just a fucking shitty world. You want me to memorize shit that means nothing?
Yeah, and then with the piece with
real quick, Jay, I apologize. Parents, please, if you have a creative kid or an entrepreneurial kid, I'm not saying let them drop out of high school. I'm not saying let them be a dick face, but I'm saying maybe take a little of the gas off the pedal of some ideology because you wish you went to a good college or your mom's big on education. Like, love your child. Deploy self-awareness and empathy.
Yeah, that was a big piece of that fire too. When I first started the side business thing, when I took it full time, I was like, people they have all this information on the table. They're not taking a look at it. I want to almost evangelize that information.
I love that.
And take it to the masses. And I was all fired up. We're going to do this, and then life punches you. And then the safety. And that's oh my gosh.
Yep, Jay, it is about gratitude, right? Child has some complications, scary as fuck. The next day somebody's child was stillbirthed, or their spouse died in a car accident, or like life is life, bro. My mom lost her at 5. My mom's the greatest mom in the world, executed by a woman that didn't have a mother. Life.
Yeah.
Life, man.
Yeah.
I gotta bounce. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Good luck. Let me get some differences out here today, man. Tea with Gary V. I'm seeing you guys on social. By the way, anybody who signs up for Wine Text right now, please leave a comment so I give you a shout out that you just did. I see your comments out there. People really feeling this format. Tea with Gary V, better than any education during quarantine. Thank you, nerd shirts. Shreds, excuse me. Fuck, let's keep going. Thanks, channel. Oh, Roberto, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me, Gary?
Oh, clearer than anybody else. You got a fucking whole system in there. You look like you're a fucking movie star, motherfucker. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm hanging in there with everything that's going on.
Talk to me.
It's been literally almost 6 years to the day since Ask Gary V episode 38, where you answered that question, what's the biggest barrier to success, a lack of capital or a lack of time? And I think you remember what your answer was.
You know what's funny? I don't know what my answer. I honestly don't know, Roberto. But you're going to remind me. It's funny how it's funny how we evolve over time. One more time. What's the biggest barrier to success, or to what was it?
It was what's the biggest barrier to success? A lack of time or a lack of capital?
Listen. I value time over capital by 1,000,000,000 miles, but it's a lack of self-esteem.
You know what you said 6 years ago? You said it was a lack of optimism, which is tied directly to that self-esteem.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love how consistent I am. Fucking love it.
Exactly. But with that in mind
Yes.
right now,
Yes.
with everything that's going on in the world right now,
Yes.
not just with Corona, but also just Corona has done something that you talk about a lot, is that these things don't change us, they expose us, right?
Yes.
This has exposed for a lot of people the vulnerability of their situation, not just with the priority of their health, but with what their financial future is, their career, all these things, all these frameworks that they've invested in. Like, the veil's been pulled back. Like, the floor has been ripped out from under people, which is horrible, which is devastating. But it's affected people's self-esteem. And it's also affecting even people like me who aren't necessarily directly negatively impacted. Like, things are going well for me, thankfully. But, I'm watching other people go through. And it's, hard even for me to maintain, optimism in the face of their pain. And then for them, I know that their entire self-esteem has been wrapped up in the identity of their job, of their career, of their earning potential, their certainty and future. Their ability to be optimistic has been predicated on this security that was an illusion. And
because people value money too much, bro.
Yeah. Facts.
You've watched me for a long time. We know each other. I keep going deeper, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna single-handedly fucking reframe fucking success.
Yeah.
That dude that we had earlier, hope he comes back maybe tomorrow or maybe Tuesday, because it sucks that I'm not on Friday, Monday. I'm gonna miss it too.
Yeah.
We need to reframe success, bro. That dude is happy. That dude is happy. He's fucking delivering pizzas at 32, and he's clearly that's why I asked him. I'm vibing. You know how I roll. I'm like,
yeah.
Wait a minute, are you happy? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, bro, you fucking won.
That's it. Like, but
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if this created people wrapping their self-esteem in the fact that they're kind people and that they're happy, not that they make 180 a year and have a Beamer?
Exactly. So you're 1,000% right. Like, the thing that like has made me the happiness is that I'm in a position to where it's like my younger siblings and my parents don't have to worry about like anything right now.
That's awesome.
Like with this chaos in the world,
That's huge.
I've been able to protect. Like that's the thing that means the most to me, Gary, is that I'm able to protect people.
Like, brother, I love you. Like, it's all I know. I'm a fucking leader.
Yeah.
Put it on me.
Exactly. Like that's like, and you know, like I've like even since I was like a little kid, right? I always like kind of wanted to step up and to like do that and like help my mom after the divorce and all these things. But it's like I never had any quote unquote like real power. And then even when I was working, I was never making enough. But then when I became an entrepreneur, I could take control over everything because I could take responsibility for everything. But like how like that's a situation that like I was able to create over a period of time. Like what is something more? How do we help more people? Like how do people that are in the position you or I am in right now help people to shift this framework? Because right now I know the obsession is they see the writing on the wall, but right now what they're staring down the barrel of is survival and uncertainty.
2 ways to help: speaking truth and financially helping. Black and white and gray.
Nope.
Literally, when this was 3 weeks ago, I'm like, uh-oh. First things I did was hit up Lou and Sid and said, we're buying masks at a premium price right now because by the time all this shit comes from China, these next 3 weeks are going to suck. So I know I can buy them for 80 cents, but let's buy tens of thousands at $4 and we're going to donate them to New Jersey and New York hospitals. Second thing I did was start a tea with Gary Vee.
Yeah. No, 1,000%. Like this is the.
And by the way, not everybody can afford to do what I did on the personal side.
Yes.
But everybody can do what I'm doing right now.
Right. So, like, something I've been trying to do with my content is I've been trying to gear more people up toward freelancing because the world hasn't completely shut down because there's still, like, land grabs right now in terms of cash and carry of, like, and the thing is...
Oh, there's real opportunity.
Yeah.
There's real... Oh, Roberto, all this... Listen, brother, this is just exposing, like I've always said, like you brought up already on this call, winners are winning more.
Truth. Like, truth. I mean, I've been...
Like, VaynerMedia's on the attack.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the attack. I've got my 15 top executives with me, all on Zoom, all in our LinkedIns, reaching out to anybody we've ever fucking crossed paths with, because we're a fucking offense out here. I'm not dwelling about which customer can't pay me or fucking is going to fire us because they can't afford anything anymore. I'm going after everybody else's fucking meat.
Yeah. Facts.
I'm going to eat because I'm a fucking AAA.
What do you think for, like, people that, like, haven't quite gotten there yet? Like, for the people who watch us, like, right now, what do you think is, like, the most important thing somebody can do over the next 30 days?
You know because you used to watch me, and then you started doing it.
Right. Well,
it's called action.
Got you.
It's like, fucking work ethic. Like, you know what's so crazy? You know, I'm heralded in 2008, 9, 10 for Crush It, Hustle, because people were hurting, and they needed some good energy to work hard. Mm-hmm. Then things got good, and the last 2 years, I'm getting shit on for Hustle. You're burning people out, Gary. Right? You saw it. You're always in the trenches. I know you watching. Oh, yeah. Guess what is about to become really cool next year? Hustle.
I hear.
Whether you want to call it hustle, that's a bad word now, fine. Let's call it hard work.
Right. No, I've seen the coding. I've seen people with the language. I've seen the coded language play of, like, people. It's like, okay, we're going to demonize these words and everything like that with no context.
And by the way,
use these words
that's right. That's right, and it's fine. Listen, I know I've gotten bigger. I know how rap works, right? You try to battle the person that's bigger than you. I understand it all. It doesn't even bother me. I have a very funny feeling that work ethic is about to be put on a pedestal again. You know, everybody, when 10 years in, everyone's spending all their time talking about work-life balance. And they should. Mental happiness. You know, I'm the number one fan. I just told somebody who delivers pizza that you're the best.
Yeah.
I'm not about that money. I'm about happiness. However, you know, work ethic's part of it.
It is, in the sense that it's the thing, like you've constantly said, that people can control, and what you can't control right now what happened in the economy and all of these things and everything like that. What you can control is the opportunity to skill up. You can control the opportunity to reach out. You can control the opportunity to deliver value.
Roberto, let me make this very clear for you and everybody who's watching, and I think you know this.
Yeah.
What is about to happen is AAA's, because somebody asked what does that mean, winners are about to super shine. Fake winners are about to burn to the ground. All those Instagram fucking entrepreneurs that were spending all their money to make pretend they were successful instead of spending time making themselves successful, they're going to get annihilated.
Yep.
People are going to have self-awareness moments where they're going to realize their steez was a little bit bigger. They're going to realize where they sit. It's a reset. And the most insecure and the people with the least mental foundation are going to dwell and blame.
1,000%. You're 1,000% right. And you know what's interesting? You said it, and it makes total sense, is that right now, because when we're under threat, when things are happening, when we're under threat, you know what comes up? Our insecurities comes out. You know, like that's the revealing thing of whatever we're insecure about.
And we started admiring different things. That boss that was a little gruff but fucking held shit down, who was like, not nice. All of a sudden, she's holding shit down and saving your job, and you're like, wait a minute, I like Karen. Yeah, she can be a little rough once in a while, but I've got my job now because she fucking sold another account. We start admiring different things when things get scary.
Exactly so. It's like you want, like, you know what? Like, there are people who are, like, wartime leaders, and there are people who are peacetime leaders, and we've had a long period, we've had this bull market to where people have been very, like, I think even with some of the stuff with people coming after you is because you might be a better wartime leader than a peacetime leader. And, like, you know, it's easy to criticize somebody.
Brother, I'm a great fucking, and guess what? I'm a great fucking peacetime leader. What happened with me is I was getting so big that the people were looking for ways to build themselves up on fucking non-contextualizing what the fuck I say. And that's fucking facts.
Mm-hmm. No, I've seen it. I've read the headlines.
Yeah, and listen, and by the way, I've got the fucking bravado, but honestly, no animosity. Like, I get it. Like, it's all what it is. The truth always wins in the end. I don't care if the crowd's booing me. I don't care if my man, I would be such a great fucking athlete. I would be so motivated if the other team went on a 12-0 run and the whole garden was booing on us. I'd be like, okay, I understand you, fan, and now I'm about to fucking drop 30 in this quarter to make you fucking cheer my fucking name.
Well, that's why Rocky 3 is your favorite Rocky. Is because in that when with Ivan Drago, like when like everybody's booing Rocky about
four.
No, sorry, it's 4. You're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why did I super?
That's all right. It's all right.
But like with Rocky 4. Where you know, he's in Russia and everybody's booing him. By the end, he has half the crowd. He's won them over purely on grit and on work ethic.
On the results. On the fucking result. Bro, I know how this story ends. And honestly, because I know 100% how this story ends, I want everybody else to have a story too. Because I got love.
Yeah. What I want, and what I think you want too, is I want people to start realizing this is the opportunity to write your own story, because I think that people from their insecurity are being reactive right now. I think even criticism of other people is just being reactive about your own insecurity,
100%.
Superimposing onto someone else to demonize, instead of just doing the harder thing, which is keeping your mouth shut and saying, you know what, I'm going to focus on me, and I'm going to focus on why is it I am upset with that person. I'm not upset with what they did. I'm upset with how I feel, and I'm projecting something onto them. And so if you address that...
Roberto, it's not fun to be held accountable. It's much more fun to blame your alcoholic mother. It's so much more fun to blame the city you were born in. It's so much more fun.
To blame the government, to blame,
everything.
Yeah.
And by the way, that doesn't mean that those things aren't true.
Correct.
That's not a separate thing. It's to my dearest friends, like the people I care about the most, that go into Dwell City. Gary, you know a little bit of my story. College. 90% of my friends were African American, dealing with so many different issues than I was. Like, in those deep 4 a.m., drinking a fucking 40 of OE, when you're now family and you can go there, it's like, yo, I get it, bro. But nobody's going to cry for you because they're crying about themselves. Like, you can spend the rest of your life dwelling that your dad left and that you get pulled over by the cops more than I do, and it's all true, and you're right, comma. What the fuck? And this is when you can be a real friend. What are we going to do about it?
Exactly. And the hard thing to accept of that is that it's more likely and more practical that you change than the environment and circumstances change, or they're going to get better on
Racism is not going to get better in America to the ideal place we all want it before ever you die.
There are periods of time where it gets worse. Like right now.
Anti-Semitism exploding. I've gotten more anti-Semitism in the last fucking 3 years, 4 years, 5 years than I did in my whole life.
Yeah,
By the way, and then real stuff happened. How about the man right before, the nice gentleman right before? You can be worried about all these macro issues, and then your child can have life.
And then that becomes irrelevant very quickly.
What about the fact that I can get hit by a bus and die? It's life. You're not in control of so much shit. Everyone spends all their time dwelling about what they're not in control of. This fantasy that you can control shit. Focus on what you can control. Get yourself fucking happy.
So what happened for me was, and again, I grew up I grew up Catholic. I'm Panamanian, so I grew up Catholic. What happened for me is when I constantly
put Swami back up. Put Swami back up. I see it every fucking day that I'm in the fucking airport. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And before that, nothing. And then 9/11 happens. And guess what?
When I was growing my hair, I constantly got pat down because of my dreads and stuff all the time.
Bro, when I got my tan right and went serious on this shit, I come on.
Yeah, it happens all the time. The thing that I learned is I realized.
What about the reverse game?
Yeah.
I'm watching my white friends cry because people are deploying privilege on them, and this fucker grew up in a fucking trailer home. People don't know him. Nobody knows anybody. All we want to do is fucking judge. Mind your fucking business. Worry about yourself. Stop telling other people how to fix themselves. Fix you.
Here's what I can control, and here's what I can't. Now the things that I can't necessarily control, the thing is, if I work on myself, then am I later in a position to have an impact on that? So, if you care about a macro issue, the best thing that you could probably do is become powerful enough to address that macro issue. You do that by doing the micro yourself.
Roberto, that's exactly what I'm doing. I want to change what young men think is success, specifically, and obviously young women too, but I know what my demo, I know what's happening out there. It's actually, I think it's, when we look at our numbers, it's 65-35, but,
nice.
but, young men who are impressionable and who want that lifestyle, I can fucking break them down. I've become an alpha to them, and now, do you know what it feels like to me, Roberto? And you're in the culture of tech and social, so I know I know you've seen my impact.
Yes.
22-year-old saying gratitude. 23, I'm changing the fucking lexicon.
You've changed the language, the code, the lexicon. That you've had an impact. It's not bravado to say that. It's truth. It's truth. And I've seen the relevancy change in and not just because your numbers changed, but I was there when you had 28,000 subscribers. I was there when it's Gary who? I remember when I couldn't pronounce your name. I remember. It wasn't that long ago.
No.
So, but in that short period of time, the impact that you've had and the scale that you've had, because you've reached outside of even the micro of only business and entrepreneurial people and social media people used to watch.
Justin, put Kim Jacobs' post in here. Keep going, Roberto. I'm sorry, but I want her to get. There we go.
Now your beginning macro relevance to the average person. There are people who are not entrepreneurs who know who Gary Vaynerchuk is now, and that's a big deal.
Roberto,
because
every single fucking person on earth is going to know who the fuck I am, and I'm going to take that power and I'm going to do the goodest good of fucking all time with it.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm seeing it. I've watched. There are people who say things like that, and then there are people who do it. And I've been watching, and that's why so many of us who have our own, micro version of success all still look up to you, still watch, even though we've quote unquote made it in the eyes of other people.
And it's why I still put you on shit like this, because I want you to go to the next place and the next place and the next person and the next place. It's all fucking gonna happen.
Yeah.
And times like this, weed some shit out, because there was some real fucking confusion of who the A's and who the F's were out there, and you got caught in fucking pictures and videos. But shit's gonna get real clean.
Flexing. Yeah, I've seen it. It's
it's about to get real clean.
I'm so happy that people's priorities. This is a bad thing that happened, but you have to take a circumstance.
Yeah, look, this is devastating. People are dying.
Yeah,
but people are dying every day about all sorts of things.
But now more of us are going to come together for one thing. more
I believe
people
that.
are going to shift their priorities. Like look at what Jack just did with what he just did and how he stepped up and everything like that. Look at for all the crap he gets. Look at Bezos. Bezos went in $100 million on that, $10 million on climate change.
Listen, Roberto, people have made decisions about people without looking under the hood. Do you know how many people's spouses or best friends hate me and think I'm a snake oil salesman and full of myself and a piece of shit, but they've never spent 10 hours educating?
Right.
I would watch
you're
this.
A snake oil salesman
watch
false hope when all you do is tell people to work harder and you give it away for free.
But what's amazing is literally right now in the comments, everyone's like me, my sister, my brother, my wife, my husband. Everyone's like, he's a motivational speaker. You mean the one that's constantly built businesses his whole life, every minute that he's been a grown-up and they've exploded and been the biggest in their craft? That guy?
Yeah, literally.
That's cool. That's cool.
How much of that
What are they going to say when I hold up a Super Bowl trophy as the New York Jets owner? What are they going to say there? I got lucky?
Yeah, so people don't even realize something like this. Something people haven't reverse engineered, and you've said it, is that you have to make billions in order to buy the New York Jets, right? So then all of your actions are mapped to the vision that you have of the intention of being able to execute on that, because there's a whole pathway of everything you have to do. Do you realize how much value, you know this, but the people in the audience don't realize this. People think that being a billionaire is luck or scummy or you step on people to do that and everything like that. The only real way, aside from inheriting money and leaving it to get compound interest, would be you'd have to serve millions of people at a high enough level of value in order to generate billions of dollars, because everything, at least in the world of capitalism, is transactional. So
100%.
It's impossible
100%.
to actually scam your way to billions.
And for me, what's really funny about it is the effort behind it in a good way. That's why the Honey Empire, that's why we call, I'll probably write that book about Vayner. We're doing it in such a good way and we're winning. This was always my problem with Steve Jobs. That reputation that you have to be a dick to be Steve Jobs led to, I watched my friends, as Steve's career exploded, I watched my friends in Silicon Valley become dicks. Mm-hmm. And that's what probably etched in my brain, Roberto, of me going ham on who I actually am around. Roberto, what you had the luxury of knowing that has become a little more obvious in the last 2 years because of how my content's unfolded, or the last 4 years with D-Rock and blogging, you can get a little bit deeper, you can see nuances. You kind of already knew that I was a nice person.
Yes.
I'm an aggressive communicator, which makes all the people that are in here, like my girlfriend, my brother, all that. I get it. I understand. I'm empathetic
to around military dudes, so I could parse that.
It was easy for you.
Yeah.
But you also knew the truth of my humanity.
Yes.
But and I kind of held that back the same way. Even that, it was actually uncomfortable for me to say about the mass things earlier. I was like, why did I say? It's really. I don't talk about my nonprofit world that much. I under promote Pens for the Promise and charity. Yeah.
I don't talk about any of the philanthropic things I do. I don't publicly tweet out my donations to this thing or that thing, with the exception of Team Trees, because I wanted more people to do it, and so I'm reconsidering that as an inspiration.
I just think it's important that people know that you can be a millionaire, and I hate that term, but this is exactly what I'm going to say. That you can be a millionaire doing it the right way and being kind. And and I think that we got to a place in culture when people didn't believe that, and I want to put that on my and then comma, because that's for one group. Yes. I want everybody to know that $36,000 a year happy is winning in life.
It is. How much do you think that, some of the people not believing things is style over substance? Meaning there are people who, either, the Steve Jobs being a dick thing. Stylistically, though, he to the masses seemed one way, but then in the micro relationships, it's known that he was another way, and so it looked good to be Steve Jobs. But
it's Christopher Columbus.
Of how you communicate.
I call it Christopher Columbus. Mm. We loved Christopher Columbus in this world until about 20 years ago.
Right.
I'd rather be respected long after I'm gone than right now.
I think it matters.
It matters to me. And I very much pick up on the argument from other people and being like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I want to be happy now. And I'm like, I understand. What makes me happy is building a legacy that is admired. The end.
Well, doing everything again. You're intentional. You're doing things again for thinking about the funeral and thinking after how you're gone and thinking about how people talk about it. Because again, it's like, like Steve Jobs kind of got it at the end and had regrets about like the context.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Treated people.
I don't want to vent this. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I admire him tremendously. I'm not shitting on somebody who's passed. Just don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. I think that people have a problem reconciling their ambition versus their attitude, because how you play the game matters. And the thing is, we're aggressively in a culture and taught in a culture, but I think that's from scarcity. I think from scarcity, people have a zero-sum game mentality, a win at all costs.
100%.
I think that's why people even demonize successful people in the demonize them, because they think that you could only have won if it was at my expense or the expense of someone like me.
Roberto, I've built 5,000 agencies because I put out so much free content and decks. People have built agencies on repackaging. I know tons of people who've done it. I believe in abundance. I believe in love.
Yeah. I think on a long enough...
I gotta go, Roberto. I got a fucking important client call. This was too much fun. I love you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate you,
man. Thanks so much for having me. Talk to you soon.
Happy to have you, Roberto. Dustin, thank you for being on the ones and twos.
Yes, sir.
These episodes, huh? So somebody say this is like a mini podcast. We're like doing it well.
Yeah. It's cool.
Do you know what that reference was?
No.
Read the comments. Doing it well. You don't know, you young fuckers. Some OGs. Tell them what it is. There it is. That LL Cool J.
Oh.
Fucking
yeah,
good.
I only know Mama said knock you out.
Which is way older. Anyway, I appreciate everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Please take a screenshot of this right now. Please sign up for Wine Text.